Israel must end. Saudi Arabia threatens. Did Saudi Arabia alert us to Israel's impending invasion of Gaza? If so, why did it do so? And what part can it play in this high-stakes diplomatic chess match that takes place behind closed doors to stop Israel from attacking? Imagine an exclusive group of senators, including the distinguished Senator Richard Blumenthal, huddling with Crown Prince Mohammad bin Salman in the lavish surroundings of Riyadh. Saudi Arabia, a dominant force in the Middle East political scene, conveyed a dire message to the United States. At this intense meeting, the Saudi leadership expressed a fearful plea tinged with worry and dread. Their sincere hope, evident in every word they chose carefully, was to prevent an Israeli ground invasion of Gaza, as they saw nothing but a dire and catastrophic future for the region should such an invasion come to pass. It was a moment filled with both anxiety and strategic forethought painted against the backdrop of the Middle East's delicate balance. Their concern wasn't just about the geopolitical consequences, but also about the sheer toll on human life that loomed ominously on the horizon amid this high-stakes exchange. The room buzzed with the weight of the silence, every hushed tone conveying the urgency of avoiding disaster in the making. The Saudi leadership did more than simply call for peace. They also called for stability in order to prevent a loss of life that, if unleashed, may spiral out of control. They offered a clear picture of the grim reality that would follow, one of anarchy, instability, and irreparable harm to the region's fabric. Beyond containment, this was a cry for empathy and a strong urge to proceed cautiously in the minefield of Middle Eastern affairs, not just a caution. The United States, Israel, the European Union, Canada, and other nations have all labeled Hamas, a political and militant group from Palestine that operates in the Gaza Strip, as a terrorist organization. The United States has continuously maintained Israel's right to self-defense and provided the country with significant assistance during times of war. President Biden called for a pause in a possible invasion while also supporting Israel's defense. This request for a delay was made due to a number of reasons, such as the necessity for prolonged talks to free prisoners and improve the war plan in an effort to bring about stability. President Biden and Crown Prince Mohammad of Saudi Arabia discussed regional peace with an emphasis on advancing larger diplomatic efforts. The main topic of discussion in these exchanges was the potential for Israel and Saudi Arabia to normalize relations. A crucial step in the pursuit of regional stability in terms of defense and geopolitical tactics, the United States and Israel have a strong historical connection, with the former constantly at the top of the scale. In order to address both the present dispute and the long-term diplomatic repercussions, President Biden has called for delaying a future invasion. Concurrently, talks between President Biden and Prince Mohammed illuminated the pursuit of a more all-encompassing diplomatic effort. This larger vision aims to prevent further conflict escalation and encompasses greater stability throughout the region. The talks went beyond resolving the immediate conflict and covered a wider range of Middle Eastern geopolitics. One of the main goals of these diplomatic discussions was the possibility of normalized ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel, which would be a big step toward regional stability. The goals were extended, and they wanted for long-term peace and diplomacy in the area, not just a temporary truce. Until a Palestinian state was established, many Arab nations, including Saudi Arabia, remained steadfastly opposed to establishing diplomatic relations with Israel. The Arab world's support for the Palestinian cause remained a key component of their foreign policy, which was heavily influenced by public sentiment. However, this decades-long diplomatic impasse started to shift noticeably in recent years. A pivotal moment came in 2020 with the signing of the Abraham Accords, orchestrated by the Trump administration, which marked a significant departure from the traditional stance of the Arab world nations, including Bahrain. This rigid stance against acknowledging Israel without the creation of a Palestinian state formed a significant barrier to any normalization between these nations. Under this deal, Morocco and the United Arab Emirates established diplomatic connections with Israel in spite of strong opposition from their respective people. The drastic rightward shift in Israel's government and the expansion of settlements in and around the West Bank further intensified the opposition toward these accords. Despite being unpopular among ordinary citizens who saw the deals as a betrayal of the Palestinian cause, the Abraham Accords were celebrated as a breakthrough in Middle Eastern diplomacy. With time, the Accords shed light on a new view from some authoritarian leaders in the area who balanced the possible advantages of a relationship with Israel against the general negative public opinion. These leaders recognized the potential benefit of diplomatic engagement in terms of security and economy, and they also anticipated possible gains from the United States in exchange. While public opinion remained unwavering in its support for the Palestinian cause, authoritarian leaders navigated the delicate balance between appeasing their populace's sentiments and seizing the opportunities that engagement with Israel could provide in terms of security and economic benefits. This revolutionary shift in the diplomatic landscape reflected the region's evolving geopolitical dynamics. Along with highlighting the geopolitical evolution of the region, these changes and diplomatic ties have sparked talks of a possible normalization of relations between the US and regional powers like Saudi Arabia and Israel. The intricate discussions that preceded this normalization, however, were conditioned on Saudi Arabia receiving substantial advantages from the US, such as expanded armament sales and mutual defense agreements that back a civilian nuclear program. Deep-seated worries are raised by the possibility of a ground invasion in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, not just in the conflict's immediate theater, but also throughout the Middle East. Saudi Arabia and its surrounding nations are on the verge of possible consequences that might go beyond the boundaries of Gaza and Israel amid the quagmire of rising violence in the Middle East. Potential diplomatic progress seems on the horizon. The intriguing possibility of a normalization agreement between Saudi Arabia and Israel shimmers among the current disarray, shrouded in patience and waiting for the ideal opportunity to present itself. It appears that the complex web of Middle Eastern geopolitics, which has been entwined with the Palestinian struggle for a long time, is about to undergo a change. Although traditionally the area has supported the creation of the Palestinian state as a necessary condition for diplomatic ties with Israel, this position seems to be slowly being reevaluated. With the escalating conflict, the current situation poses a formidable challenge, while the notion of broader diplomatic horizons and normalized relations with Israel lingers. The Abraham Accords of 2020, which saw Bahrain, Morocco, and the United Arab Emirates forge diplomatic ties with Israel, marked a pivotal shift in a region traditionally opposed to such normalization without Palestinian statehood. The path to formal recognition for the Saudis is definitely fraught with many factors. It's not just a diplomatic move, but also a strategic step with socio-political, economic, and regional security implications. Saudi Arabia, a political heavyweight in the Arab world, seems to be taking its time carefully calculating the right moment to enter the realm of formal recognition. A changing narrative or aspirations for normalization are signaled by the Middle East geopolitical landscape's shifting tides, but realizing them requires tact, precision, and perhaps most importantly, the right timing to minimize backlash and negotiate the complexities of regional sentiment and international politics. While the current situation demands immediate attention, the United States has emphasized its unwavering commitment to fostering long-term stability and prosperity within the Middle East. The U.S.'s emphasis on long-term stability was essential in demonstrating a comprehensive plan intended to bring about peace and harmony. Alright guys, this brings us to the end of this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you think of this warning given by Saudi Arabia.